Hey, let me just say this real quick. Who in the hell is scared of Devin Haney after that last performance? Shit. Shit, I come back at 147 or come back at 145. Shit. Scared of Devin Haney after that last performance? A man scared to get hit. That man don't want to be touched. That's easy work. Easy work. So with that being said, Teofimo Lopez, is it a duck? Oh, y'all can call it a duck. Y'all can call it a duck, but y'all come in here because y'all want original takes. Not takes that you hear from other people. No, original takes that's been in the game. And I see things a little differently than most people. That's why a lot of people don't understand what I be saying. They don't get me. It is what it is. But yo, check this out. This could be a power play. This could be a power play. Here's why.
Everyone in the world can see that Tio is dagging Devin Haney. You know, Teofimo, but he's saying 11 million is not enough. Now Timothy Bradley says Teofimo is not scared of fighting Devin Haney. If he's not scared to fight Devin Haney because of Devin Haney's last performance for 11 million, that means it's too much. If it's easy work, as Timothy Bradley claims, that means it's easy fight to make. Just to go there, fight Devin Haney, collect 11 million. If it's that easy. But it seems like Teofimo doesn't believe that. It doesn't make sense. Teofimo wanted to fight Boots at 147, but doesn't want to fight Devin Haney at 147, though they both moved at 147. So it's a problem. If we're going to have Michael Langley of boxing, Timothy coming always dizzying Devin Haney, going against Devin Haney, we have to ask deep questions. What is the problem behind all those things? I literally believe that Timothy is jealous of Devin Haney because of what Devin Haney have achieved at 26. What Devin Haney did at 26, Timothy Bradley wasn't even close to achieve, was not even known in boxing, you know. But let's continue hearing this.
Look, Teofimo Lopez, right? He wanted to fight Boots. Why did he want to fight Boots? Why did he want to fight Boots? Because there was more money on the table. That's why. One, maybe he thought he can beat him. Maybe not. I don't know. I thought he had a good chance. However, Boots didn't take the bait. Boots didn't want to fight. Boots going to 54, that's my opinion. Or Boots might even want Norman Jr. I think this came out of his mouth. He wants Norman Jr. After Norman Jr. go to Japan and knock that guy out.
And I don't believe that truthfully, I don't think that they even deserve the acknowledgement to come back like this. I don't. After a shit performance like that, get a good win and let's stir it up. But there is no reason for me to go all the way across the Middle East, and I think that is poor for everybody else that we built this fight in the U.S. Yeah. As a business analyst on that part, look, I only have promotional fees to pay Top Rank, but I could go anywhere, wherever. You guys could possibly see me and Tank fight. You guys could possibly see me and...
Teofimo just mentioned Tank. If you are new in boxing, pay attention and learn something. Tio called Terence Bud Crawford. When Terence Bud Crawford is at 154, he called Tank Davis when he knows that Tank Davis is at 135 and he's at 140. He never called Devin Haney. There are still people who refuse to believe that Teofimo is deliberately dagging Devin Haney, but they can never justify this anymore because this is clear that he's dagging Devin Haney. It's simple because if he is not dagging Devin Haney now at 147, he doesn't have an excuse because he wanted to fight Boots at 147. So if he's saying that 11 million is not enough, let's look his next opponent. We can let this pass and everyone can come who believe that Teofimo is not backing Devin Haney. We can allow this pass and then we wait until Teofimo introduces his next fight and the name, and we see how much he's going to make. I can guarantee you he's not even going to make 5 million if he's not going to fight the likes of Boots, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia. He's not going to make that money. But Tio still justifying this. People like Timothy Bradley, Michael Langley of boxing, always protecting such low-level IQ. And sometimes I ask myself questions like, people like Timothy Bradley thinking like that, what is wrong with such people? And I realize that it's jealousy. That jealousy and envy towards Devin Haney, towards young black guys who's doing better than him. Now that he's at ESPN, he thinks that he must do whatever it takes to impress his bosses, And if you pay attention, all those guys at the top, like Stephen A. Smith, they're always coming after blacks. Then you won't even hear Stephen A. Smith saying anything about your film. When they come, make racist rants or whatever, they will just keep quiet, wait until black men do something. Like, for example, Devin Haney fight, they just come in there to discredit. But when they're doing well, they keep quiet. They don't want to push it in the media, people to know Devin Haney, to realize Devin Haney. I respect Devin Haney so much because he's been calling Tio for years. Tio been ducking from 135. Tio went to the world showing fake undisputed, saying he's an undisputed when he never won WBC belt. But you went there, lie, take pictures with clans like Canelo, saying that they are undisputed. Me, if I was Canelo, I would refuse to take pictures and videos like that, because I know that this is a fake undisputed champ. Is not a champ. I am the real champ. So why should I lower myself just to accommodate this low IQ guy? But let's continue to listen to Tio Fimo saying nothing but pure ducking. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.
And Boots fight. You guys could possibly see other fights in line that could be made. Rather than, what would you guys rather have me see? What would you rather want to see? Look, of course, I've been working nonstop on how to cut the ring off. Barboza tried to move, and we cut the ring off. We successfully did that. And we won the fight unanimously. So I don't have no issue with the whole situation. However, I don't believe that this move was for the takeover. I believe it was mainly for the Haneys. They published it while I was reading the contracts. That right there already gave me a red flag. This is all in cahoots for the media to promote Haney because they had a shit performance. Now, this is freedom of speech, and my speech on this is this, that the Haneys may have a lot of their hands in the pockets of the media. So it doesn't do any justice for me at the moment. Let them simmer. They don't have anybody else. Name me another fighter that you guys will want to watch him fight. Name me one. The Haneys, when I lost to Cambosis, it was Bill Haney and Devin Haney hugging each other, going up and down, celebrating because they didn't have to face me no more.
I don't know if you know this. You have to explain if this is not ducking. Teofimo is the one who called out George Cambosos when he had an opportunity to become a real undisputed champ, but he refused.
Watch this shit. Let's do this everything. Watch this shit. What? And when I knock this nigga out, watch this shit. How y'all gonna? I don't want you guys stepping up to us after we fucking knock your ass.
Can you knock someone out when he calls you? You come up with excuses. You can't even justify your excuses. It's excuse on top of a stupidity. You continue with that. How can you knock someone who is like this? I know there are some old people who are empty, like Timothy Bradley, but there are some young people who can think for themselves and see things as they are, and they will be like, no, shut up. The time is over. You are old and low IQ. You have shown us, just shut up. Because your favorite guy is not saying anything but making excuses. Is it possible for you to knock someone? When they call you, you come up with excuses. How are you going to knock him? When are you going to knock him? You avoid to knock him out for 11 million, especially after you claim for his bad performance after he fought. You claim that he fought badly, but you are making excuses to fight him. You got to think. You got to be honest now and realize that no, this is not gonna end well. People will have to wake up and see things as they are. He used to face the real champ, Devin Haney. He made all kind of excuses and he's still making excuses. Even now he haven't said anything. Since he started talking, all he said is just excuses on top of excuses. People like Timothy Bradley won't be able to hear such things, but people, real boxing fans, are smart individuals who can think for themselves. They can hear that this guy is not saying anything. There are a lot of guys who campaign and go against Devin Haney, who hate Devin Haney. And most of them, they just go there. I think they're getting paid, just to go and discredit Devin Haney. It might work for Mexicans, those who hate Devin Haney, it can work for them. But those who love boxing and realistic, they can see the facts. They will be honest and say, oh no, this one here, I might miss some things, but this one here doesn't make sense. You cannot be complaining about the Haneys when they called you before you choose to fight George Cambosos. You're the one made decision to fight Cambosos, and you never call out Devin Haney. Devin Haney has been calling you 135, 140. Now he's at 147. He's still calling you. You're calling Boots. You know, if this is not a duck, I'm waiting for people who will justify this with facts. Timothy Bradley tried, but he said nothing but BS. Let's continue to listen. Low IQ tier.
I mean, listen, the we've had two options and two offers to face them.
How? When and how? We never heard of that. But we have heard Devin Haney calling you thousands of times. But we never hear you, Theo, calling out Devin Haney. You are trying to come up with excuses. You can't justify this anymore because everyone can see that this is a clear dark. You are lying, Theo. The way you love to talk, the way you select who you want to fight. If you wanted to fight Devin Haney, you could have called Devin Haney long time. Since 135, I never heard you calling out Devin Haney. Even after his bad performance, as you claim, you never called him. I think if you were real about fighting Devin Haney, this was the right time to fight him because now you are convinced that it's done, right? It's nothing. If you think that, why don't you call him now? You make excuses still. Make this make sense.
They never came to it, and everybody always kept it hush. The moment this happens, people are ready to butcher me. So it's like, at what cost and who's really in control of this whole thing? I'm trying to show you guys there's other ways to it. Like, literally, it's a lot of bad shit that happens in this game, man. And sadly, I got to be the one that got to walk through all that. But I train every day for that reason, man. It helps with my mental. Because this shit ain't easy. This shit ain't for the weak.
Nah, you right about that. Yo, but you said when you fought Lomo, right? Everything was leaning towards his way. I felt like that made you a bigger star by beating him. You know what I'm saying? So you don't feel like if you beat Haney, that's gonna bring you
Okay,
to
look,
another
look at it
level.
like this. It made me a big star, but it also made me a big target.
But you
Made
top
me a
dog
huge
though. That's
target.
what you want
No.
as
Mm-mm.
a
The only
competitor.
reason
That's
why
what you want.
Cambosis. All right, let me go back to that too. So when the whole Cambosis situation, see, I never understood the power that I possessed back then. I was a little younger then, but all I had to say was no and relinquish the IBF belt, and there was no more Cambosis fight for all the postponements that they did. Still have my undefeated record to this day.
You see, those people who are saying he never dug Devin Haney, he chose. No one forced him. He can come and say, I was young, blah, 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 blah. But he chose to fight George Camposos. But he could have fought Devin Haney. But he made it clear that he doesn't want to fight Devin Haney. He chose to fight Camposos. People can blame Devin Haney, can hate Devin Haney. But Devin Haney, what he does is he's calling the best fighters. Imagine Terence Bud Crawford moving like this. Imagine David Benavidez making excuses like this. This is a problem. People have to just see it as it is and be honest, because I'm tired actually of listening to low IQ guys like this. We listen to Ryan Garcia, we finished, we still continuing with Theo. This at some point must come to an end. We need real boxing where big fighters call big fights.
Some people are not going to tell you because they're blinded by the money. So the Cambosis thing, the whole situation now coming back, they keep using Cambosis as a recycle fighter. As long as I stay in the top, they're gonna keep using Cambosis. That's why we got Hitchison and Cambosis next week.
Facts. If that ain't the most fraud shit ever, getting the title shot right after getting stopped.
Because
Yeah.
guys, no one then like belts to me still matter.
Facts.
However,
And they
the
should.
rankings, the rankings to the boxing world now doesn't matter. It's more about the name. What sells more?
Facts. I
Yo,
seen somewhere
Tio,
they were
and
almost
and
putting
and
Jake
that
Paul in the fight.
that does a disservice to all of you here that are tuning in right now.
yo, Tio.
Get the likes up. Smash the like button.